We have a new poll showing that despite all of this pain, okay, all of this legal pain, all of the shame, Trump is not just kicking the heinies of everybody on the right. He's beating President Biden where it counts the most in current polling. Not a big fan of polls. They're a snapshot in a moment of time at best. But that's what we're looking at right now. Because if you thought that this case, even though he's clearly trying to throw it and probably going to lose 5 key battleground states, he's winning, okay? And Biden did well in these states. 3 years older than Trump is Biden, okay? But 71% of people say he's too old. And, you know, you just don't hear that about Trump. Why? We'll debate it. But let's bring in Democratic 2020 presidential candidate, co-chair of the Forward Party, Brother Andrew Yang, and former Trump White House communications director, Anthony Scaramucci. I also wanted to give some more love to all the businesses and Bitcoin stuff that you're doing now. You know, he's got Skybridge. You know, he's got a lot of stuff going on. He's not just former Trump guy. Anyway, does anybody believe on this panel that these cases are going to make a difference, like this poll's going around that says 60-something% of people say if he gets convicted and sentenced to prison, it's going to change their feelings about the vote? Now, I don't like that question because they're kind of making it sound like he may not be able to serve, so would you be wasting your vote? That's not the case, okay? And it's very unlikely. But do either of you think he's done if he's convicted?
Well, the New York case is a civil case, so that's not going to result in any kind of jail time.
Right, but any of the cases.
But the data clearly shows that attacks on Trump in this manner actually strengthen him among the base. I mean, you referenced earlier that he's 40 points ahead or so of the Republican field. And at this point, it just seems like the authorities are piling on their guy. And so the more attacks he sustains, the stronger he gets among the Republican base. A lot of these lawsuits will not play out until after the Republican nomination is settled. And then there is absolutely nothing that prevents a Republican nominee from running regardless of what's going on in terms of their legal status. He could be behind bars. He could be the Republican nominee. So I don't think it's going to derail him.
Anthony, I guess the question for your Harvard brain is, what's a bigger factor, Trump's negatives or Biden's perceived weakness?
Well, so you said something that I totally agree with, that these polls are a snapshot in time. You have to tell me what the economy is doing in 12 months, where interest rates are moving, at least the direction of them, and how the general economic health, what's in the person's pocketbook coming up in November of next year. I think that matters more than anything, Chris. And so for the incumbent to win, you have to have that upward positive trajectory. If you're asking the question, is cases like this going to derail Mr. Trump? I don't think they necessarily derail him. But if you have top secret documents, if it's exposed in a case that he took top secret documents and he shared them inappropriately, or they can prove in a court of law that he was part of a premeditation for an insurrection of the government, then I do think you've got issues that independent voters won't like. But I know that Mr. Yang believes that the independent voters dislike President Biden, but I think they would dislike that more if it's exposed in a criminal case.
Andrew?
Well, if you look at the numbers among independent voters, President Biden is underwater significantly on the number one issue, which is the economy. And Anthony referenced, like, what is the economy going to be doing? 12 months from now, they're not buying Bidenomics at all. It's not a great argument. And these terrible numbers that you referenced in the swing states are after the Biden campaign did something unusual, which is they spent millions of dollars on ads in those states to try and strengthen the president's numbers. And he's still behind Trump at this point. The same polling shows that a generic Democrat actually beats Trump by 8 points. You have this very strange situation where a generic Democrat, in my opinion, would beat Trump, and a generic Republican would have a great chance against Biden. Biden and Trump are the weakest candidates in many ways that either party could field. And the party that breaks away from that candidate, in my opinion, is a heavy favorite to win. It's one reason why I suggest that people who want to prevent Trump from winning. Check out Dean Phillips. He's 54 years old. He's a moderate Democrat.
Dean Phillips.
Yeah.
They don't even know who this guy is, Andrew.
Oh, they should learn. He was on Bill Maher this week, and you should have him on, Chris. But he's a moderate, 3-term congressman who's a CEO of a company. He's straight up the middle. He'll come on for sure. But he's what a lot of your viewers want because he's going to be.
We're asking him. He's not coming on.
You could just give Steve Schmidt a call, Chris, and then he'll be on probably the next day. But Dean Phillips is the guy that a lot of Americans want, just a 54-year-old reasonable business leader. He's making the case, and I think he's just going to grow tremendously, especially because 2/3 of Democrats are unsure about Joe because of his age.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.